heads, welcome back to another edition of the Brootal Block Reacts here on YouTube with your host, DJ JC. Hey, that's me. I'm here with another awesome React video. I hope you guys are ready. If you're new here, we made this YouTube channel because I do a 1-hour metal show over on Super Cool Radio, streaming on all major platforms, called The Brootal Block. We do a 1-hour metal show every Tuesday at noon, and I like to play bands that you probably haven't heard of in the hopes that you find some, if not all of them, interesting enough to add to your own personal playlist. I created this YouTube channel because I wanted to take some of those bands from the said show and dive a little bit deeper into who they are as a band and what makes me like them and what makes me a fan of their music. Because over on the 1-hour metal show, I'm just playing bands that I like, bands that reach out to me, are getting airplay, and we are just spreading the love and building that community. Here, I wanted to give a little more in-depth opinion, and hopefully you guys like it, and hopefully you guys go and check out some of these bands. That's the hope anyway. That's the whole dream and the whole concept of Brootal Block. So without further ado, let's get into today's episode. And today's episode, we're going to be covering a band that I became a fan of after hearing the first track from these young ladies. And yes, I said young ladies because this is an all-female band, and man, do they kick ass. I'm speaking about the one and only Krypta, and we are going to be covering their song, The Other Side of Anger. So if you are wearing socks, be prepared to have them knocked off. That's right, I just did another dad joke. I did it. I'm a dad. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into Krypta with The Other Side of Anger. Also, before we get into this, I just want to also mention, if you are a fan of the ladies in the metal universe and you love hearing either metal vocalists or female fronted bands, all female band, then I highly suggest going to YouTube and checking out Napalm Records YouTube. They have been signing a ton of female fronted bands or all female groups. So if that's something that you are really into, check out Napalm Records. They are killing it, and they are showing so much love to females in the metal world. Ooh, I love that switch up there too. That tempo switch up was awesome. But I want to point out that this band, what made me really love this band is when I was in high school, one of the heavier bands that I was really into was Death. I really loved Chuck's guitar writing. I liked his vocal style. May he rest in peace. And that's what I get out of Krypta. I think that they are a very Death influenced metal band. I could be wrong, but I hear a lot of Chuck in not only their riffs, but in the vocal style as well. She does an amazing job, and I just think that the riffage to Lords of Ruin, if you haven't heard that song, go check that one out as well. There's a solo in that track that is totally Death inspired, and I really love it. I don't remember if there's a solo on this song. I've only heard this song once prior to doing this react, so we'll find out together. And I know I say this a lot, but as a bass player, the bass tone in this band is fucking phenomenal. The bass always cuts through the mix, and I love it because they have 2 guitar players in this band, and the bass still manages to just sit there and dominate and say, "Hey, I'm here too, and I'm fucking making killer riffs." And I love it because like it does cut to that mix, and there's times throughout the songs that they write where the bass is playing something different from the guitars, and it it's elevated and you can hear it and it cuts right through. She's not only a very talented vocalist, but a very talented bassist. And I love that the guitars and the bass kind of complement each other. It's done very well. They just know how to write very tasty riffs, and their song structures flow very, very well. And that's one of the reasons why I love this band is just they're heavy as fuck, but they know how to structure their songs properly. That ping of the bass, dude, I love it. I just love when bands have that real stringy, pingy, just ah. I also got to give love to the drummer. The drummer isn't just, a typical metal drummer of like, look at me, I could play fast. She knows how to read the vibe and she plays well. Although she's playing fast, they always say like a lot of the more simple drummers, they like play in the pocket. I think if we're going metal, I think this metal drummer knows how to play in the pocket for metal. She just knows how to help bring that atmosphere out, and I really really respect the tasty feels. It's not overdone. It's what she's doing is very precise, and it goes along with what else is going on in the song. See, like right there, it sounded like she was doing a hi-hat with the snare, and then she switched over to the ride for just a little brief, add a little bit of texture, a little different texture to, change the palette up a little bit, and then she went right back into to being just like it was just a little touch. I like when bands do that. I like when bands do that with any instrument. When there's like a little section that kind of cuts in, it's a little different from the main riff that they're playing or the main part of that song, and then they add a little textural difference, and then they go back into it. I love when bands do it and they never go back to it. That's another thing I really like. Bass players from some of the bands that I listen to tend to do that, where like they're just playing and then out of nowhere they do like a bam, 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 and then like it never comes back. It just catches the ear to kind of make sure you're still involved, make sure you're still paying attention and catch you, and then it never comes back. And there's sometimes like especially the first time through, you're waiting for it again and never comes back. I like that shit. I also just want to point out how, again, I'm always very impressed by. In my mind, there's two kinds of drummers, like really good drummers. There's drummers that are good at speed, and then there's other ones that are really good at technicality when it comes to like odd time signatures and weird, crazy fills. This drummer is very, very precise with her speed. What I like about it is something that I look for in a band, in a drummer rather, that is doing like power blasting and really fast technical, or not technical, but really fast drumming, is the power behind each hit. Specifically speaking about the snare. There's some bands out there that when they're doing that fast stuff, it loses power over time. If you listen to her snare hits, they pretty much stay consistent throughout. And I really respect that. I really like that she is able to stay fluid and stay consistent with not only the speed, but the power in which she is being fast in. See, like she didn't lose power at any of that. Through the power blasting into the fills, like it's all consistently, like the power is there consistently from start to finish. I really enjoy that. I don't know what kind of ride you're using, but that is a clean ass sound on your ride. There it is. Oh man, you guys would make Chuck so goddamn proud. Like seriously, I think what I get from you guys, if I had to pick 3 bands that I think that you guys are like maybe heavily influenced by, not heavily, but maybe just influenced by, I would have to say it would be a mixture of Death meets Children of Bodom meets a touch, just a touch of Slayer. There's just something about you guys that it's still unique. That little solo section was awesome because we went on a little roller coaster ride there. It wasn't just all, hey, let's do diddly 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 doos with a fast rhythm section behind it. No, y'all built up to that. So y'all kind of went back to the softness of what the intro gave us. Something really pretty. It was hauntingly beautiful. And then the second guitarist came in and said, "Ah, look what I can do." And it sped up just a tad. And then when we went back around that third solo, and I'm breaking those up as first, second, and third solos. That's when you went full death, and you summon Chuck himself, and that's something that I think Chuck would have wrote as well with that type of solo. But it almost felt like a guitar battle, and I really enjoyed that. That was awesome. This is what I mean about this band. This is what makes me love this band is their songwriting abilities. They're very aware of telling a story with their music. You don't hear that a lot in a lot of the newer bands that are coming out today. A lot of the newer bands, they just want to play cool riffs, and it's just riff on riff on riff. There are specific subgenres. I'm not going to name any, but there's specific subgenres out there of metal that they end up all sounding kind of the same because they're all writing the same thing. They're all playing low, chuggy, fast stuff, and then they're all just trying to show off with, look what I can do on guitar. And then it just kind of all becomes a blur. This band, their songwriting, they are creating an atmosphere, and they are taking you on a journey musically, and I really 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 appreciate that. They're all solid players. That's the other thing I really like about this. You have a bass player who's screaming and nailing these bass parts, has a sick fucking bass tone. You have 2 guitar players that play very very well with each other, that again not only can play really awesome rhythms and cool sounding rhythms, but they know how to keep your attention by building tension, by creating atmosphere, and still being able to, like, look what I can do, motherfuckers. I can solo too. I can finger tap too. Fuck you. You're not special. We can not only write songs, but we can solo over the motherfuckers too. And then you have a drummer who is just a solid player, who is consistent, who is powerful throughout, doesn't lose steam, doesn't lose power, and knows how to put fills where they need to be and also help create that atmosphere with their drums. Bravo. Fucking bass, dude. Fuck yeah, dude. there you have it, guys. That was Crypta with The Other Side of Anger. I hope you guys enjoyed that as much as I did. Again, this is one of those bands that when I first heard them, I was like, fuck yeah, dude. Right up my alley. You know, I grew up listening to Death. I grew up listening to Children of Bodom. I used to listen to a lot of overseas metal back in like 2005 when I was in my first band and I was playing drums. We listened to a lot of Bodom and Northern, Fintroll, and all kinds of crazy shit. And actually, those group of guys were the ones that got me into Death and discovered who Death was. And I was really into that band when I was younger. So I really was able to kind of hear a lot of those elements from that band and this band. So if I'm wrong, my apologies. But if I'm right, know that you guys are carrying the torch. And I'm glad that I was able to hear that. And like I said, even if I'm wrong, I think if Chuck was still alive, this definitely would be a band that would be on his playlist for sure. You ladies are a breath of fresh air for the metal community, and I wish you guys nothing but the best. And I definitely want to dive in more into your discographies. Like I said, guys, if you guys haven't listened to Lord of Ruins, go check that out. The solo in that song, I really, really dig. The video itself is also super awesome. But yeah, go check these ladies out. Follow them on their social pages. Let them know that DJ JC and the Brootal Block sent you. And go show them some love, because I'm really excited to see where these ladies are going to go. And like I said, Napalm Records is finding these bands and really putting them on the map. And I really do appreciate them finding these heavy metal females that are just fucking killing it. And this band is top tier, in my opinion, of the all-girl bands. You know, the first all-girl band that I ever heard of when I was younger was Kitty. And for me, I think, you know, their first album, Spit, was probably my favorite. They started kind of going down other realms, and it wasn't for me. I still listen to Kitty every now and then, only because the wife likes them. So I do listen to them occasionally, and I'm able to kind of see where they've gone, how they've evolved over time. But Krypta is a band that yeah, man. I was excited when I heard them. I've had them on Brootal Block. I don't remember what episode they were on. Let me see if I have it here. So I have them all written down, but I think it's been a while since I had them on the show. So they're definitely going to have to be spun again here very, very soon. But if you do listen to Brootal Block, if I can't find it here in the next few seconds, we'll have you... Okay, so it looks like we had them on the show on episode 80. So if you'd like to hear that particular episode, head on over to Super Cool Radio or Brootal Block. You can type either one in your search bar in any of your streaming services, whichever one you use, and type in Brootal Block Super Cool Radio and go to episode 80. And you could probably even just type in Brootal Block episode 80 and probably be the easiest way to find it. And check out that show, because we have a bunch of other cool bands on that episode. And hopefully you find some that you'll fuck with. But yeah, man, that's about what we have for today's show. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you guys make your way over and check out our 1 hour metal show. Again, remember, new episodes come out every Tuesday at noon on Super Cool Radio, and I'd love to see you guys over there. I want to thank you, minions, for constantly giving us a listen and checking us out every week. The show wouldn't be possible without you guys, and watching the community grow this past 2 years has been amazing. I also want to thank the bands for allowing us to use their music, because again, our show would be nothing without you guys. And I respect and appreciate and love the grind, and I love finding and discovering new bands to not only add to my own personal playlist, but to share with the minions. And as always, thank you, Matthew Thomas and Super Cool Radio, for allowing us to continue to play heavy metal music for you minions out there to jam out to. Without them, Brootal Block wouldn't be possible either. So we need all three legs of the tripod to be successful, and as long as we have those three legs, Brootal Block will not, cannot, and won't be stopped. So you guys stay heavy, and I will see you guys in the next one. Until then,